Psalm 75, verses 4 through 7 says, I said to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up the horn. Do not lift up your horn on high. Do not speak with insolent pride. For not from the east, nor from the west, nor from the desert comes exaltation. But God is a judge. He puts down one and exalts the other. Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 6-month reading plan through the book of Psalms, today's reading is Psalm 75, and I encourage you to read that psalm. Now, as many of you know, I try not to be very political in these devotions. Because these devotions reach people of all kinds of political persuasions, it would be foolish of me to pronounce one position as positive and one position as negative, unless that position directly impacts that which God has made clear. So I say this with a little bit of trepidation. I'm amazed at the lack of modesty in our government and in our major businesses. These men and women, certainly not all of them, seem to believe that they have reached the pinnacle of power and they deserve to be gods. Congressmen and congresswomen make statements as if they control all aspects of our lives. The whole government seems to be intent on holding on to power and not necessarily doing what is good for the people. And Asaph had a message to those types of people. Stop tooting your own horn. Now, we as Christians are called to be different. We as Christians are called to be modest. Now, let me define exactly what I mean by modest. I'll begin by defining it and by saying what it is not. I am not talking about how we dress or don't dress. I'm not speaking about the cars we drive, the houses we live in, or anything in the physical world. I am addressing a state of mind. Modest people, some people might say humble people, do not think of themselves in the sense of their importance. Modest people think of themselves as ones who can help do something, not control somebody or something. Now, certainly a modest person can be a position of authority, but with that authority, they can still show modesty. And we can quickly pick out spiritual leaders who were modest. Billy Graham, Mother Teresa, John Climacus, Maximus the Confessor, and a myriad of others, great spiritual leaders, were there, but their most endearing quality was their modesty. I'm reminded of a monk by the name of Piasos. He died in the middle of the 1990s. Some people would travel for days to go to his monastery and seek his advice, and yet he never gave direct advice. In his speaking with people, it would become clear what they were to do, and if some miraculous thing happened because of a prayer that he prayed, he would deny any responsibility for that occurring. The easiest way to talk to people about Christ is to become a servant. People will ask you why you are different, and it is then that you can talk to them about Christ. Our focus should always be on Christ and not on us. And if you would like a PDF copy of this entire reading plan, please send an email to phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.